All right. Well, good morning, you guys.
Good morning.
It is nice to see some smiling student faces, that's for sure. I really miss seeing the kids. It's a big part of my day, every day to do that. Is to really get out and see kids. It's actually the best part of my day
Aw.
when I see you guys doing what you do every day. Whether it's in the classroom or outside of the classroom or at the events, whether it's the play or the sporting events. So I think I can not only speak for myself in that, but I think I can speak for all of us. A lot of us who are not seeing kids as much as we normally do in person, I think we all, miss you guys really a lot. And hopefully you miss us too. At least to some
You.
degree, right? At least to some degree. If you don't mind, I'd like to just start by wishing everyone well. I hope that you and your families and all of the Mayfield families are well and safe and protecting themselves during this period of time. I think it's really important that we all adhere to the health and safety and wellness protocols that are out there. The social distancing, staying at home as much as possible, and really avoiding that contact because that's one way we really take care of one another. And I know it's difficult. I come to work every day, so at least I get to get out of the house for a little while. Not everybody may be able to do that. I'm deemed an essential worker, so I at least get to come to my office for 6, 7, 8 hours a day, and then spend the rest of the time working from home. The other thing, that I really want to express is my sincere appreciation for our senior class. I mean, they are an awesome class. They've been terrific for so many years here, and I really feel bad that they are not able to participate in the normal day-to-day things that seniors get to experience in the last few weeks of their senior year. And I just wanted to say to the seniors that, you know, we appreciate your understanding of this. We're trying to do some things that you would normally do. As you know, we have backup dates to commencement, to the senior banquet. We're working on some ideas to do the award ceremony virtually. So we had to light up the night the other night for 20 minutes. We put on the stadium lights for 20 minutes and 20 seconds for the class of 2020.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, oh yeah. And we're running, if you haven't seen them yet, I think they may have started today or yesterday, but on Facebook and on our website, we're doing kind of like profiles of all the seniors, 300 something seniors, and we'll run them through until we get through everybody, through the rest of May. So I just want to say that. And I also want to say thank you to all the students. I know it's much different for you to be learning in this way. For some, it's more of a challenge than others. Some kids are really thriving, and some students are falling through the cracks, and struggling with it. And I really appreciate, I get so many nice notes from parents and students about your relationships with your teachers and how hard the teachers and staff are working, to try to do their best to accommodate you, to still see you, to guide you through your learning, provide you with instructional tools and ways to keep up with the things that you're keeping up with academically. So I just want to give a big shout out, to all the kids and the staff that are really working together to make the best out of the situation. And it's really quite inspiring for me. I literally have goosebumps right now, thinking about all you guys and the things that I read and the examples that I've seen about how learning is continuing. And while I say that, I'm very connected with what is happening around the country and the state, and hear many examples of how it's not working in many school districts. And what some students don't have in some school districts in order to keep learning and working academically like we are. You know, not all school districts have Chromebooks going back and forth to school.
Yeah.
Not all school districts have, this ability that we're doing right now. Not all school districts have Schoology as a platform. Not all school districts staffs are working as hard as our staff is and going the extra mile for students. And not all students are trying to go the extra mile for their teachers. So I'm really proud. I'm just really, really proud generally. And I know we have our tough spots and our challenges, but I'm really, really proud of our community. And certainly your parents. I have 5 children. They're all grown, thankfully, through this. I have a couple grandchildren though, and boy, oh boy, I know it's got to be hard on parents a little bit. My youngest child is 25, and she just moved back from Jakarta, Indonesia, because of this, where she was teaching English to kids who didn't know English, right? And they're trying to learn English as their second language. And even having a 25 or 26-year-old back in your home who's been used to living on her own for 8 or 9 years, that's even challenging. And she's an adult. So I get what parents are going through too. And thankfully for them, they're trying to balance their families, and their jobs and all of that. We really appreciate their patience as well. So kudos to the entire community. People are really, really stepping up for us.
Definitely.
But I'm really encouraged and inspired by how we've been able to adapt.
It's okay. We would like to have people hear encouraging words, especially around this time.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear those type of words and encouragement.
Well, one of the things that I think that you had asked was, what would you say to a student who is struggling to this and finding this challenging?
Yeah.
And I would say on a very practical level, I would say to that student, okay, you need to find out exactly what the expectations are of your teachers, okay, what the assignments are, what the projects are, understand exactly when it is you can connect with them, okay, by whatever means, whether it's email or Zoom or Schoology or whatever it is, Google Classroom, and then really plan your day as if it were a school day, as if it were your job, right? To get up in the morning, get dressed, brush your teeth, right?
Yeah.
And then plan your day and get to work. Write it all down. Whether you write it electronically or you put it on a piece of paper and hang it up on the refrigerator, plan your day, because people who plan tend to get their stuff done, right? Because if you procrastinate, well, we all know what happens then, right? It all piles up. It all piles up at the end. Now, we do have students, few, who are struggling, and they're struggling more than just a planning way. And this is where I give a lot of credit to our counselors, our social workers, our school psychologists, and even in some cases, our police officers, okay? So for students who are really, really struggling in all kinds of ways, our counselors are reaching out, our social workers are reaching out, and even we've sent police officers to do wellness checks to those students home. So let's say we don't hear from a student for 2 weeks, then we are going to start reaching out, and we're going to find every way we can, including sending somebody to that person's house, that student's house, to find out what's going on. So, at a practical level, plan your day, plan every single day, right? And then you'll get your stuff done. You'll figure out how to connect with your teachers. And then if there are other issues, we'll be reaching out to you.
So I have like a question because a lot of parents are concerned for like what happens like even after like starting to next school year. They're talking about still like doing rules of COVID-19, like wearing masks and keeping a little social distancing. So what do you have to say about that for next year?
Yeah, so there are many, many scenarios, right? And that we are planning for. And every single day we listen to the governor. You can watch him yourself on Idea Stream, okay? And The governor and his head physician and the lieutenant governor do a presentation for the people of the state of Ohio. We listen very closely for a couple of things. What is the health research saying? What is the medical field saying about how this virus is trending and how we are doing as a community to flatten the curve? The other thing we listen for is what are the orders the governor is giving for school districts? So as you know, just the other day, he kept school facilities closed to students and to public events and expects us to continue remote learning through the end of the school year. So that's our order. I don't really make those decisions. We listen to what the governor tells us to do. As you know, the stay-at-home order is still in effect, right?
Yes.
And we have to adhere to those protocols as well, but we are also deemed essential workers. So what we are doing right now in this current situation is we have a few people who go around the district, keeping themselves safe, adhering to social distancing and other kinds of health and wellness protocols, and they are taking care of our facilities. Because you guys aren't in school doesn't mean the pool still doesn't have to be attended to, or there still aren't air conditioning and heating issues, right? And things don't need to be cleaned, and the grass doesn't need to be cut, and the light bulbs don't need to be changed, and all of that. Buses cleaned, inspected, there is a ton of things to do just with our operations and facilities. So we have a skeleton crew that comes in to take care of those things. Here in my office, I come to work every day. Other people come in staggered shifts, including some of our secretaries who will come in to support us maintaining, all the health and wellness and safety protocols that we have to maintain. We keep our distance from one another. We have hand sanitizer everywhere. If we're going to be in a larger group, we have masks. We have, all of that kind of stuff, right? Even the school board meeting tonight is going to be a Zoom meeting, okay? So we will not be there in person tonight. We will be on Zoom. It will be connected, be streamed live on YouTube, okay? So that's kind of an interesting thing that maybe you didn't know. In terms of moving forward, we know that we're going to have school until the end of the year. We don't know what will happen yet for the fall. We don't know. And what dictates that is the medical research and how it is we are trending with this virus. Are we flattening the curve or are we not? So we kind of follow what the governor and the CDC has to say. Well, we don't kind of, we do follow all the recommendations and orders from the governor and the CDC, the Cuyahoga County Department of Health, essentially. And we follow all of those recommendations. For the fall, we are planning, several scenarios. We're planning on a scenario where this continues, remote learning from home. We're planning on a scenario of everybody being back to school as normal, which I hope is the case. And we are planning a scenario where possibly they will allow us to come back to school, but within certain parameters. So maybe a hybrid scenario of school and home learning. So I can't give you any more detail on that yet, because those are the kinds of things that we're talking about. So right now, it's not like I get to sit at home and take up other hobbies. We have, just tons of details and planning to do for all of these various scenarios. You should also know that every single week, okay, I gain medical information from two sources. I'm on a Zoom and conference call with two sources. Dr. Parker, the president of Hillcrest Hospital, I am on his Zoom meeting, or actually it's a conference call on the phone with he and several mayors from the region. and he personally educates us on how we are doing in this region with respect to the COVID virus. Another call that I'm on, actually it's a Zoom call, is with the president and CEO of the entire Cleveland Clinic Health system. I was invited to that, and it's quite an honor to be invited to that. So we are able to get right from the medical professionals' mouths an understanding and an education of how this virus is working and what the implications are for schools and communities at this time. And in my opinion, I think that the governor and our medical professionals are doing an outstanding job, really letting the science dictate our practices and in taking this thing step by step. You know, in fact, my oldest son is an anesthesiologist at a hospital in Cincinnati, and he is on the front lines. So he spends quite a bit of time intubating people, applying ventilators, helping to save lives, and all of that. I mean, that's his job right now as an anesthesiologist. So I also get to gain information, you know, a little bit more inside information from him about what that's like, you know, and what is he seeing behind the numbers and the statistics. So all that to say that we take all of this information and then we sit down here and we plan. And we say, how do we keep our kids safe and how do we educate them? How do we keep our families safe and how do we help them educate their kids at home if they're needed to do that? And in the cases of a lot of small children, that's needed.
Yeah.
Right? So I know that's a long-winded answer, but there's so much to all of this that it's hard to just answer it in a soundbite for Wildcat Weekly, which I miss. And the last one was hilarious, by the way. That kid was absolutely hilarious. I was laughing out loud, no lie. I was laughing out loud. I was sitting right here watching. I was laughing out loud. It's the best laugh I've had in a month.
So how have you been practicing social distancing, and is there like any tips that you have for everybody in the Mayfield community?
Yeah, I think it's what we continuously to hear. You know, I practice it, obviously. I'm at home or I'm here or I go for a walk, okay? Or I do my garage workouts. My wife and my daughter and I have on occasion gone over to the Metro Park, but we're very careful to stay away, you know, from other people. I haven't been to the store, I can tell you that. My wife tends to take care of that, going into the store. And when she does, she wears a mask, you know, or if my daughter runs to the store for us, you know, she wears a mask. And if you've been to a store or outside of a store, you can see, you know, people are lined up a lot of times now. And in all of that, the graphs and charts that I've seen from the Cleveland Clinic and our region in particular, all of that is really helping. You know, the greater the percentage of people who are practicing the social distancing, wearing the masks, you know, wearing gloves, keeping their hands washed all the time. I don't think I have fingerprints left on my fingers anymore because I've washed them so many times. Plus, I'm old. So, but I think you could see the data and in the graphs, the curve flattening as more people adhere to those practices. So there's a direct correlation between the percentage of people practicing those things and our safety, without question. And I've seen those charts and graphs from the Cleveland Clinic.
You already kind of like highlighted on like the seniors and like what they're going to do. Like, can you like highlight a little bit more? Because I'm pretty sure like they're all eager to kind of find out about all the events, and are they still going to happen, or they're going to be like a little.
Yeah, and Mr. Legan I think he's already put something out and will put out more, you know, as things become more clear. Again, we're planning for every eventuality. So for example, for commencement graduation, there's a backup date to the backup date, right? Right. So there's one backup date now of June 25th. But if we are not able to gather, okay, at that time, right?
Right.
In large groups, Then we're working on another possible scenario, actually several that I don't want to put out there on Wildcat Weekly right now, where we can have some kind of commencement graduation ceremony, maybe in July. Okay, so, there was the usual date at the end of May, toward what was it, the middle or end of May, May 24th or whatever that was. Now there's the backup date of June 25th. And if that doesn't work, we're working on yet another scenario to try to have some kind of graduation or commencement. I know that there's a backup date for the prom, right, of June 19th at the Signature of Solon. I know that there is the senior banquet. Okay, there's a backup date for that for, I think it's June 23rd. And if prom and a senior banquet can't be pulled off, then I know Mr. Legan has been working on some kind of senior celebration in July. We're also working on a kind of a virtual solution for the honors assembly, where the seniors get awarded all these scholarships and all these dollars from various folks. And we're trying to work on some kind of virtual scenario so that happens as well, for the senior class. I do feel for the senior class. But, I think in the long run, I think when the seniors look back, they'll see this as a very unprecedented time. And they were part of the solution, even though they were disappointed, And I personally believe, and if I get to deliver a commencement speech this year, I think the senior class has, exhibited courage, not only this year through this time, but I think all throughout. And I think courageous leadership is really needed in our world today. And one of the things that I want to try to communicate to our seniors, if I get that opportunity, is to, think about what courageous leadership is, because things in the world are changing. You are the people that are going to lead us through all of the challenges of our time. And it will take courage to do that. It will take courageous leadership to do that. And I think our senior class has that attribute. They have that in their souls and in their hearts and in their minds, and they have the intellect and all the things that go along with really solving problems and leading change and being courageous through it all.
Of course. Because a lot of parents have to fill out forms, and it's kind of difficult to get it in because it's kind of hard to contact people at the school. So.
Yeah. So if people are having questions about any of that, I have a number of communications that have gone out over time. You can find them on our COVID-19 place on the webpage. But what I've been stressing is send the person you think you need information from an email, an administrator. So a principal, an assistant principal, me, the superintendent, director of technology, the assistant superintendent, and whether we're the right person or not to answer the question, we will route those emails to the person who can answer the question.
Okay.
I get about maybe 4 or 5 of those a day. I know the principals get many more than that a day, about the little things. I can't always answer the little things. For example, our director of pupil services and special education would know more about assistive technology and how it is we can get that to a student with special needs, than I would in particular. But I can get the answer. I can route it there and have somebody respond.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all, I think. Thank you for answering our question.
Oh, you're welcome. You guys have made my last 2 weeks just seeing you like this. Oh, can I give one more shout out?
Yes.
And I've been so remiss. So I don't know if you know this, but I have a student advisory council.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to put this in there. You cannot not put this in there.
Okay.
My student advisory council, I don't know what you know about it. Do you know anything about it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So kids on my student advisory council, they come on when they're in 6th grade, right? And they stay with me until they graduate from high school. Okay. And I really miss them. We are like family.
Oh,
Aw.
And I truly miss them. So we make sure that that they get that because we work on a lot of projects together. We have pizza. I mean, they're just amazing. You know, they give me all, and they've had a lot of influence on my thinking as a leader and as a superintendent about what we should be doing for students.
Yeah.
So I really miss that group. So I miss you guys. If you hear me right now, you're watching this. I miss you guys. I love you guys. If I could, I'd give you a big hug, but I can't. So here's a big hug for you. All right. And keep Mr. Bokovitz in line too, will you, please? Okay.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kelly.
thank you.
Oh, thank you guys. You guys were absolute pleasure to talk to, and you guys be well, stay safe, encourage your friends to do that, and say hi to your families.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.